Special invitation announcement to the town criers. Get your megaphone up, put it on standby. Set up your audio, loud up your speakers. Cause you're gonna break this breaking news louder than louder. Record it on the camera, broadcast it on the satellite, put it on your social media.
My name is John Adama. I'm a media consultant. And first of all, I want to appreciate you all for having me. And then especially for the state government, I want to appreciate them as well for recognizing young men like us to bring us on platforms like this. For years, we keep crying that they don't want to identify with us, but your state government is doing it, and we are so appreciative of it. So we want to thank you so much. Well, I want to go straight to the point. The essence of this is to build our capacity. Our capacity is very important that we build it. I decided to title my presentation Picture Story. And the reason why I decided to do this is because of my background as a media consultant, my practice. We tell our own stories with pictures, with videos. The theme of it is building a strong social media presence in an age of attention deficit. It's just simple. People don't like reading again. So how can we get their attention? You people are image makers, and because you are image makers, we expect that you are able to tell the story before anybody slides through your post. So what I want to do is show you people how we're going to use videography or pictures in telling these stories. Why my introduction is this, is I put two pictures there. If you see a post like this on social media, I just need one person to tell me, what do you think about that first picture? It's called, that professor the other time made it clear that a picture is worth 1,000 words. That means you'll be able to tell 1,000 stories from just one picture you see. So you go on social media, you see pictures like that. Can somebody just, I need us to interact, please. I don't want to just talk. Can anybody just tell me what they see from any of these two pictures? Just anybody. What you see? Yes, go ahead, please. Humanity, right? Any other person, just one more person. Can anybody tell me what they see from these two pictures here? So it's simple. When you go on the social media post, the first thing that catches anybody's attention is the emotion. Two people are running and somebody will look at, oh, that guy doesn't have hands. This lady is trying to give him water to drink. They're already showing compassion to your post. That means you are finding a way to keep them on your post, because it's important that people stay on your post. And the essence of this presentation is to show you how to use these videos or pictures to keep people on your post, because they don't want to read. Let's be very frank, reading culture is not as it used to be before. The next one, you can tell 1,000 stories from that second picture. That's somebody trying to give an American soldier either water or tea. When you see that post, that's what comes to mind. The next thing you say, oh, he's being a compassionate person. But somebody else now will look at him as a traitor. Is this guy not killing my people? Why is he still giving them water or tea? So these are the kind of stories you tell from a picture. My presentation is really going to be short and straight to the point, because I want the pictures to also tell, so that you really understand the angle I'm coming from. So I say we'll critically look at these two angles. The first one is how to tell a story with pictures. Then the second one is the best pictures to use. Because it's important for you to know how you're going to tell this story. Because you people are image makers of the state government. So how do you tell the story of the state government with pictures? How do you keep people's attention on the post? How do you sell the narrative you want to sell? Because if we do not tell them this, if we don't put this narrative in perspective, we will end up not doing what we're supposed to do. So if you look at this picture again, like I said, it's interactive. Somebody will ask this question. Oh, that's a malnourished guy. The other one will say, this guy is an obese guy. He has been eating too much. But they have one common challenge. And what is the challenge? Movement. Because this one is not feeding well, he can't move very well. Because that one is overfed, he needs a wheelchair or whatever to move. So you can actually just see a picture like this, and you can tell what the story is, even without a caption. Okay? I want to do something, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I want to do it. When a picture can tell a story, not many people stop and take the time to read all the words. Instead, they focus on the images to rapidly understand the message rather than having to interpret and analyze textual information. I can bet you that over 60 to 80% of you now, as I was reading this story, you are looking at that picture. Your concentration will be more on the picture because you are trying to visualize, or you are trying to put into context what's going on there. That girl, is she in a war zone? Is that her younger sister? Are they the only survivors there? So what I'm trying to say is, I read this thing, but nobody pays attention to this grammar I said. So it's possible the thing you see on the left there is trying to narrate that story. But sometimes you don't really want to care to know what that text is saying. Your eye is already trying to process or create a story out of this picture you're already seeing. So there's a reason why we tell these stories the way we tell them. One of the first reasons you look is emotional connections. And we say the eyes have it. Why emotional connections? We are really moved by our emotions. That's why you see that no matter the context, images increase exposure and engagement because they make things more visually appealing. You look at a picture like this. Before you look at all these texts I wrote at the side, I'm even glad that the Honorable Commissioner made me put all the text. Before, I just wanted to throw just the points and talk. But you notice that you don't really care about reading this thing. The only thing that you might take your time to read will be that caption on top. No love is greater than mother's love. And because the caption is there, of which I'm sure you already have a clear picture how to do these captions from the first papers, the first and second paper would give you an idea how to do brief captions like this. Sometimes they call them hashtags or what have you. But when you put things like that, you will now tell the whole story. You don't care what is on the side. You are just looking at, oh, it's a sunny day. She's a good mother trying to shelter her children from the sun. So that is just what you see. So in essence, picture story, because I didn't want to come to that contemporary definition. Because if I bring the contemporary definition again, it might just put us off again. But let's put it in the layman's perspective. Picture story, as simple as it is, it is the means of using pictures to tell a story. From a layman's perspective, I don't want to go into dictionary explanation. Now you see images like this. Images are particularly powerful because of the ties to our memories and emotions. When we understand an emotion, we get a better understanding through our visual experience. Now all these things I've said is grammar. But I can ask one question. Who is the wisest of them all? Because that is what you are looking at. You don't care what is going on the other side. Because you are looking at that guy. Oh, that one's own. Your own don't finish. Oh. That one here in the center. She's trying to be wicked to the other one. This guy is trying to. So at the end of the day, you have spent more time on this picture than reading the text on the side. So imagine me trying to tell this whole story now, the whole of this story in a text, and you don't see a picture. Trust me, some of us will just scroll. You'll get some WhatsApp broadcasts. Very important information. But because you don't have that time to read, you just scroll it or you delete it from your message. So that is the essence of picture stories. it's a very important information, maybe a moral information right there. But now we don't care about it because it's a text. But when it's a picture, we spend more time. So as image makers of your states, your local governments and what have you, you have to find a way to tell stories with your pictures. One, you have to engage people and you have to keep them on your posts, and you have to do what? You have to translate the message you want to translate. The best pictures to use. So some of you now look at me like, this guy is now getting political. The governor is there. That's why I said the best pictures to use. Because now what are you looking at? You're looking at the governor doing a presentation there. And your eye is already telling a story. Immediately you saw the governor, I can bet a lot of you would have more attention. Now there's sentiment in it. Because it's Yobe State and this is our governor. So there's sentiment. You want to pay attention to what the governor is doing. So as we go forward, I will tell you the best pictures to use when you are telling a story. Now I got this picture of the Honorable's Facebook feed. And what I did was I decided to crop the governor out and then put the main one at the side. So I use this illustration and I said, same event, different story. If I go on your post and I see the governor just sitting down there, even if you have that story there, I wouldn't know what you are saying. But perhaps there was crisis a day before, and then the next day you see that second picture and you see the governor with security stakeholders and the state stakeholders. Your mentality will be, this governor is really working. Because yesterday there was crisis, today we are seeing him with, and then the praises will start. Don't forget, you are image makers. You are image makers. So now it defines clearly why we have to use stories like this. That's why the writing goes down. As I've been talking since, nobody would bother to read this other thing under. But the other one will say, which out of these two pictures can tell a better story about the same event? So when I see your post, I don't want to see this first thing. I want to see the second one that gives an idea of what is going on and something that can get people engaged. Don't forget, because me, from my own practice as a media professional, we want to tell stories with pictures or with videos. So the same thing when you are doing a Facebook post. I know sometimes it's good to want to be a praise singer, maybe to the governor. But once in a while, even you have to get him, even if you must put him in the image, or your state local government chairman, or who have you, or a commissioner, once in a while, it's also important to give people an idea of what is going on there. So that is why you have a second picture like that on the other side. So there are three bases of picture stories. And I want us to look at this. I want us to look at these three bases. On this same picture, you can look at what we call action base. We can look at emotional connections, and we can look at what other, because there are two audiences here. Apart from people who are coming to your page to look, they are professionals. If Hassan now is a professional cameraman, he will not look at the picture because of the emotions or the actions. He will look at the technical aspect of it. Is this picture clear? Was it well framed? Is it well focused? So you have another audience that are paying attention to you. Now this is one of the most controversial pictures. This picture, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most controversial pictures in this country. Sorry? It wasn't edited. It's not a Photoshop picture. In fact, there are some versions that you see somebody trying to explain what's going on with an arrow like this. So what the person is doing is trying to bring your attention to what he wants you to see. Yes, so I decided to use this picture here because I grew up in Plateau State. I grew up with Muslims as well. And I know that in a prayer, there's a point of prayer that Muslims move their head from one section to the other. So this is the impression I would have as an intellectual. I will not just feel these guys they are just mad at the president. I will feel, okay, during the prayer, they decided to, or the president, over time we've heard that he has hearing problems. So it's possible that at that point that they were leading the prayer, everybody was supposed to turn to the right, and the president didn't hear, and he was busy. He continued his prayer. So now I'm putting a scenario in the story, because now I don't want to be biased. I am a media professional. I cannot take sides. But what would a layman make out of this picture? It means whoever took this picture and posted it on the social media, he achieved his aim, because he knows that the illiterate and the average Nigerian who sees this picture will say these two guys are mad at the president. So in essence, they have told their story with a picture. You don't need to see a caption here. I have been talking since nobody would take time to read what's on the side. So that is how you engage people. That is how you know the kind of pictures to use. You might not be a professional photographer, but it's important that in an event, you try and get as many pictures as possible. And then later you review them. And when you review them, you try to also check which one tells a better story. Don't forget, your story has to always be positive. Because I have been a media consultant. We blow things out of proportion. If the governor coughs once, we'll say he coughs 10 times. If the governor builds one house, we'll make the house look like it's the biggest skyscraper in the world. So your pictures should be able to translate that. So these emotional connections, Obama is, you people don't know, this guy, he started training to be a president from his childhood. Some of you just think he just got the ticket, or it was out of sympathy. This guy was already training to be a president. Now there are two things you see from these images. Trump was trained as a businessman. Businessmen, they are always selfish. So even if you offer them that umbrella and they refuse to enter because he's the president, he would allow them, because a businessman, and you know their society, they are capitalists. So he would say, he will go with the impression, if you people don't want, I will go. But that guy has been training as a president. He knows that there is something that if the world sees, they would embrace him more. So that is his wife at the back, and he's raining. The umbrella can't take both. And he's reasoning, because don't just look at just the wife there. He can hold the umbrella and walk with his wife. But as a critical politician, he's looking at the aide at the back there. What will people say? He loves his wife and he loves himself. What about the people? So he's now telling them that I love the people first, my family first. I can be last. So as a politician, you will take that kind of decision. And then, what do cameras want to see? That is what the camera wants to see. A cameraman wants to put this out and say, oh, this president is the best president America has ever had. So whether you like it or not, these are the things that would build the image that you are trying to make. Whatever capacity you are trying to make, these are the kind of images you should go out for. This thing happened after a press conference, and he started walking. If you know the real story behind that picture, it was already raining, and they brought the umbrella for them to go inside. So he decided to say, look, let you and my wife go out, walk in front. And Trump just decided to say, you guys stay under the sun. So, emotional connections now. Don't forget that politics is what puts our leaders in power. Emotional connections here is the fact that by the time you need to say that next guy should not be the president, these are the kind of pictures you should put. So as image makers, I want you to take advantage of what kind of pictures to use. When you have to tell a story, now you put a caption, you just write, somebody will just write caption this, and then go to the feed, you will see over 1,000 comments of how people feel about this picture. Okay, focus and clear pictures. I'm trying to round up by being a politician as well, so that you people can. So the idea here is, yes, it's a good picture. The governor is doing some activities. We can tell it has to do with either sports, or obviously that's a torch he's holding there. And then we are looking at this, like I critically said at the beginning, that if you are a professional, these are the kind of pictures you look at. But don't forget, it's not just the professionals now. If you have a blurry picture, if this same picture is on a post and the governor is not clear, you don't even know that it's the governor, I can bet you that you just scroll and pass because the picture is not clear. So it is important for you to know. That is why the Honorable Commissioner and the governor has given you people at least some very good phones with good pixels, so that when you take these pictures, you'll be able to tell stories like that. You know, these phones are funny. You see this thing and people just take selfies and they take straight pictures like this. Sometimes it's not really too healthy to take pictures for social media, especially if it's not Instagram and the rest, like this, straight. The landscape always helps you take better position. It gives you better content on your picture. So if this picture was taken straight like this, I bet you can only see maybe the governor and that touch. But because it's taken with a landscape, on a landscape position, you'll be able to see the expressions there. If somebody knows that young man smiling there, everybody who knows him would have one impression: this governor is a man of the people, and the people love the governor. So I'm going to conclude. So I said the power of communication is enhanced exponentially through the power of the image. Images are a great way to grab viewers' attention, convey message, and elicit an emotion response. Then I said thank you. Now none of you really cared about that last thing I was saying, because there's no picture there. But if there was a picture there and I try to explain this thing in the picture, trust me, it will make more sense. Because one, I don't even have to stutter. I don't even have to worry that I'm trying to read a word, I can't see it clearly. Already you'll be creating your own stories from your head. So basically, in conclusion, you must know how to take these pictures, and you must know what pictures to use. And the best discretion will be yours, because you are in an environment that you are most conversant with. If you are from Gaydam, I don't know who is the most important person to see in a picture in Gaydam. I don't know what is the most important feature to see in Gaydam. But like I said, the commissioner also, Honorable Commissioner also talked about this sentiment of a thing. When you see a post from Yobe, you want to pay attention to it. I can see something and I'm Igala by tribe. And if I see something and it does not tell the story of an Igala person, I'll say this is crap. But if you're from Gaydam, there's something you want to see there. If you're from Gaydam and something is happening there, there are specific people you want to see. So you are the ones who know what to look out for and what to take, and then how to take it and how to make the presentation. And on a final note, you are makers and breakers. If you do not send the right information, especially with your pictures, what you will cause is a disaster. But if you send the right impression, what you will do is make an image, which that is your primary duty and responsibility. Thank you so much.
A special invitation announcement to the town criers. Get your megaphone up, put it on standby. Set up your audio, loud up your speakers, cause you're gonna break this breaking news louder than louder. Record it on the camera, broadcast it it on the satellite.